Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
From a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Greetings.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick some ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum, baby.
You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Tribute to Scott Hall there from Simon. Simon, how are you doing this week? We missed you last week, buddy.
I missed you guys too. I missed you all too, man. It's been a crazy last week. Had a death in the family and stuff.
You know, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, you're in our thoughts and prayers as always, and your family is as well. Big news. We're going to be taking a break from the radio show for a little while. We're not exactly going to tell you why as of yet.
We also don't know how long.
Yes. 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 But we will be back. Just keep watching the website here at chewbubblegum.com and listening on the podcast show. For the month of April on the podcast show, you will get a best of series. And we will start back on, I guess it's May the 1st, right? Is that the first Sunday in May?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, May the 1st, and I don't know what we're doing for it.
Yeah, I don't either. But we will be back with new podcast shows then. The radio show, once we find out exactly what is going on with some stuff behind the scenes, and it's nothing bad. It's flattering. It's good. It's what we've worked and strived for. I will give you a hint, and it's a big platform. So if you've listened to the podcast show, then you know exactly what we're talking about. But we're going to get started with some listener email this week. And Simon, we'll start out with you.
This is from Last Name Sloan. Hey, guys, great show last week. I missed Simon on the show. I hope that all is okay with him. With the Russian invasion of Ukraine, what is your thoughts on some reports that claim a higher power has intervened in some of the attacks? Roswell.
Dirty Dan, do you want to answer that first?
Well, I did do a story on it. I am kind of, as we talked about, it seems that every time the race or the collective of people on the planet has just done screwed up so bad, them higher beings just come in, reset everything, and start over again. This could definitely be something that they're looking at like, no, don't do that. And maybe they are intervening. I kind of think they are. There's some funny TikTok coming from it. It's never funny, but there's some real amusing TikToks on it. And on eBay, I saw this. I was actually laughing with my boss about it. There is a farmer who has pulled 2 transport vehicles and a tank onto his property, surrounded him, and they are listed for sale.
Really?
So if anybody wants some Russian equipment, get over to eBay and get your bid in now, because I think it ends Saturday.
I mean, and I've heard reports about a higher power stopping missiles and this and that. And, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, and we were talking a little bit before we started recording. I told my mom earlier today, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what news reports to believe. I don't know what not to believe. I have no clue what's going on. I'm not over there. I don't know what's going on over there.
Speaking of that, I saved a video and meant to send it to y'all. And with my crazy week, I totally forgot to.
Well, hey, brother, that is the first time you've ever forgot anything like that. I wish I could say that, but I can't. So we'll overlook it this week. Simon, what's your thoughts on all that stuff coming out about how a higher power intervened and stopped a missile and attacks and so forth and all that stuff?
Definitely my prayers go out to the people in Ukraine and Russia. I know Russia isn't wanting this war either. And I'm not going to try to get too political. But, I mean, I'm sure that some of them are Christians out there. And, I mean, there's been stories of angels saving people and stuff. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, I'm not saying it's impossible at all. You know, I mean, that would be very possible. I'm just saying that there's so much misinformation that it's hard to determine what is exactly true and what is happening over there.
I just got sent 2 memes about this subject, actually.
Really?
And the first one, I guess, is a picture of a tweet. It says, driving on the road towards Kiev, and the radio announcer is giving out instructions on how to make Molotov cocktails. And then the second one, you know that I don't know if he's blonde hair, red hair, that younger looking guy that's always just looking in the distance and you see this side of his face.
Yeah.
Like it's 3 phases of him, and it says, when you're laughing at World War III memes and suddenly the sun rises at midnight.
Oh yeah.
And it's got, you know, normal, semi, and then it's just
well, that's definitely not a good thing. That means there's a nuclear bomb if it's sunrise at midnight. So Dirty Dan, you want to take the next email?
Certainly. We got Bethany writing in and says, hello. On your podcast show Sunday, you mentioned a new book by T.D. Barnes where he exposes some secrets about Area 51. Do you think this could start more people coming forward and exposing other things about Groom Lake? Thanks for your time and reading my email. I'll listen for your answer. Peace, love, and Roswell. Bethany. Goose, what do you think?
I hope that it does encourage other people, if they know stuff, to come out and tell what they know, especially now with the new organization that's supposed to be investigating this stuff, to disclose it to the American people. I hope it does encourage more to disclose some. Will it happen? Possibly. Will people, government officials, if they don't want some stuff out, try to downplay it? Probably. Could those people end up not being heard from again? Probably. But, you know, I do think that this will encourage, especially if this book does good. And, you know, we were talking a little bit Sunday about what it was about. And, you know, Area 51 was originally called Station D. And the CIA, I mean, and this shows how far back it goes. The current CIA historian was not aware that it was ever called Station D. And the guy had the records to prove it. And so, you know, that just lets you know that there's stuff there that may be forgotten in files filed away somewhere.
They needed no basis, and clearly the new CIA intelligence officer didn't need to know.
Right, yeah. What do you think, Dirty Dan? Do you think that will encourage more people to come forward?
I think it'll give more people the idea to come forward. Mm-hmm. I think like any major scandal, groundbreaking event, news title, you know, it's going to be slow at first, and they're probably going to sit back and watch and see how TD Barnes fares out. If, you know, TD goes off for a drive one night to the store and never comes back,
right?
Then, you know, I don't think too many people are going to come out about it. I think some people might take the route of the one pilot where it's like a memoir, kind of a dying deathbed kind of note.
Right.
I think we'll always have that, but I just don't know, especially with detrimental information,
right?
How much is going to come?
I can't remember the exact number, but I have read before doing research that for one person that comes out that's telling the truth, and you know it is the truth of what they witnessed or saw or worked on, I'm thinking there may have been 23 that are just totally fabricated. You know, out of, just if you've got one telling the truth, the following 23, most of the time, will be completely made up and just people, trying to gain, either fame or financial success from that.
Or of those 23, how many people are being told to say that?
Well, I had never thought of that way. That's a very, very interesting point.
When you got 4 or 5 of them coming out with the same stuff.
Yeah. Simon, what do you think? What's your take on all that?
I'm sure, it's like Dirty Dan said, we'll find out. Like, if he goes missing and stuff, nobody's going to want to say what they know about Area 51 and all that, man. But to be honest with you, I don't blame them either. I mean,
right.
Who would want to, if the guy goes missing, who would want to speak out on what they know about that area as well?
Yeah. Creed writes in, he says, I just watched Ancient Aliens and wanted to hear your opinion. The episode dealt with shadow people. It touched upon that and went through different possibilities, from them being from other dimensions to even humans not being able to see certain light spectrums. It also made me think that other life could be among us, but it is unseen by most. Very interesting episode. I'm not sure what I believe on that just yet, and I'm undecided. Anyway, what's your take on that? Dirty Dan? What's your take on that?
We have been talking about some of those things a lot here in the last couple of weeks, especially on the podcast. And first off, I love Ancient Aliens. Around long enough to enjoy it when it was live on History Channel, the first season, and watched all the wonderful memes develop from the one guy, Giorgio, but the crazy hair. Anyway, that shows honestly what opened my eyes to actually thinking outside the normal spectrum on a lot of that stuff. And wanting to research instead of just saying, I don't know what that is. And then, moving on about my day. So there's always a lot of good points to take away from that. There's also a lot of far-fetched stuff. And like Rebecca says, you always got to do your research, do your own research, see what you can find. A lot of it's hidden out there and you got to dig for it. So don't be discouraged by that. If you just type something into the Google box and you don't see the results you're hoping or wanting for, go to page like 321. Don't just go to like 1 and 2.
And you get a lot of people nowadays that are lazy and don't want to do the research. And then you say something that they don't agree with and they want to argue on it when they've not researched or looked into it at all.
And, if you can't argue both sides of the point, your opinion's invalid. Period. Down in the story. I'm not saying you have to agree with either side, both sides, or anything, but if you can't argue both sides, meaning you haven't done your research, shut up.
Simon, what do you think about Creed's email?
Man, doing research and stuff on UFOs and everything, man, it's not uncommon that they just disappear in thin air, man. So it's definitely very interesting, and I'm looking forward to doing more research on UFOs and aliens and figures and everything, man. I actually got sent a book from an author from Greene County, Pennsylvania.
Greencastle County?
Yeah.
Not that I live there.
It's supposed to be a hotbed for UFO sightings. His name is Kevin Paul. Definitely look forward to having him on, and maybe you guys can have him on your show as well. He's very knowledgeable on UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot. It's even got ghost stories in it. It's got everything cryptid, man. And he sent that to me. Definitely appreciate him doing that, and I look forward to reading that. I didn't mean to plug his book.
No, you're totally fine, brother.
When you're going to do that, just remember, Simon, you got to go shameless plug and then continue your sentence.
Yeah, there you go.
Shameless plug. Yeah.
You want to have? You ever saw any shadow people?
No, I have not. I've seen mist go through my hand and stuff like outside my house during a ghost hunting investigation.
Right.
That's the closest thing.
Yeah, I've never saw
on our property.
Shadow people.
We got 2 on our property.
You've got 2 shadow persons?
There are 2 shadow people on our property, and it is scaring the daylights out of us and never do the same thing twice. So
really?
We have no idea what to do. Oh, and there's a plethora of spirits and entities and energies that are on this property. There's also a longtime family graveyard on this property. But there's some dark stuff here too.
Right. Yeah. Simon, you want to take the next email?
This is from Gregory. Hey, Goose, Dirty Dan, and Simon. I was relaxing over the weekend and watching scary movies. What is the scariest movie you saw, and what scares you, Roswell?
Well, for me, when I was younger, I think probably the second Friday the 13th. I think that was the scariest movie I saw when I was younger. As I've got older, I think Jaws is probably one of the scariest movies I've ever saw because, I've been in the ocean. I've been out where it's swimming level. And I don't do that now because I'm a lot older and wiser than what I was when I was younger. But just the thought of getting out there and swimming and not knowing what's underneath you is just strikes fear into me. And the movie Jaws, the way that they filmed it, the way that they did it, that just strikes fear into me. What about you, Simon?
Honestly, no movie scares me, but Batman Begins was so terrible it scared me. I fell asleep. Fell asleep when I was a little kid watching it.
Well, there you go. What about you, Dirty Dan? Footloose.
Scares me for a plethora of reasons, but no, I'm that guy that everybody hates in the theaters because the scarier the movie, the funnier it is to me.
Right.
I don't know if that's just my trauma that I've gone through and lived and dealt with, or it's just my sick personality. But like the any motion picture, it's based really off a true story, like Memphis Belle.
Yeah.
The first time I saw that movie, I was extremely scared. A huge aviation buff, as we all know, and growing up in a military family and seeing a sense of what my grandpa went through. Like, I honestly, I was 7 or 8 years old when it came out on VHS, and my dad and I rushed down to the video store and we got it, and it scared the crap out of me seeing how tore up that stuff got.
Right. And I've always been a huge fan of scary movies, and honestly, the last time that I turned the TV on was back on Christmas Eve because I was watching on repeat 24 Hours of a Christmas Story. I don't watch much TV anymore, period. Now, last year, I watched it more probably than I had, the other couple of years because of the pandemic and so forth. But I watch stuff on my phone, or, if I watch stuff, I read a lot. I do read a lot. So, the last movie that I saw, I wanted to see the new Jackass movie with my son a few weeks ago when it came out, but he backed out on me, so we didn't get to go see that. I cannot remember the last movie that I saw. It was Ghostbusters, the Ghostbusters movie. That was the last one I saw, the new one.
What Avengers movie came out in 2019?
Was that Endgame?
I think so. That's the last one I saw.
Yeah. I think that was the last one they made. That's the one where Iron Man died, correct?
Yeah.
So
I don't fit very well in movie theater seats.
So. You're just not going to the right movie theaters.
No, I the last 2 years I've seen as they've opened back up, like they got recliners and stuff in them. I'll fall asleep because if I'm going to sit in a comfy chair, I'm going to fall asleep because I don't sleep enough. So
I'm going to be honest, and I want yours and Simon's opinion on this. I think within the next 7 years, if not sooner, that movie theaters will be a thing of the past.
I agree. It's.
I think they're going to be more movie taverns than movie theaters. I'll get down with movie tavern.
Right.
I got a couple of the big old.
I don't know, man.
And
I don't even know if you'll have that now, and I could be totally wrong, but I just think in the next 7 years that movie theaters will be a thing of the past. That's just me, and I hope that I am wrong, because you've still got a lot of mom and pop movie theaters that do exist in this country,
especially in this area.
So yeah, definitely, and I hope that I'm wrong, but I just have a feeling that I think they'll shut down.
I think there will be. I think you're right in terms of big corp movie theaters. I don't think mom and pop ones will get shut down.
Well, you have to look though. If they start charging more to lease the movie or show the movie, whatever they do, the theater has to pay for that.
Yeah, but also look at the resurgence of drive-ins and what they're doing, how they're going about that.
Yeah, well, drive-ins are kind of making a comeback a little bit,
and that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's the mom and pops have the freedom and the ability a lot easier than a whole corporate shift to make a change to try and survive or make a comeback like drive-ins.
Right.
I think the corporations are all going to try and change to a movie tavern style or like an old dinner theater style.
Right. Now, a dinner theater, awesome. That would be great,
I don't think movie theaters are going to be around to show new movies long enough. I think it's all going to be readily available, and that's why I think that the mom and pops and the drive-ins making the comeback are going to flourish over the big ones.
Right. Yeah. You want to take the next email, and then I'll wrap it up with the last one.
All right. We got Benjamin writing in. Says, hello, here to Chew Bubblegum. I know that you don't talk politics on the show, and without doing that, what's your thoughts on everything going on in the world today?
Me, I mean, like I said, I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. No, I'm not saying I'm from Missouri, the show me state, where you're like, well, I don't believe it until I see it. But people's reputation nowadays in news media is not very dependable. Dirty Dan?
Well, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on this one and just say I am just focused on getting our property in shape now that it's finally thawing out and smoking some meat. That's all.
Okay, so you must have disagreed with what I said.
Not at all. I just don't know how to put it so politically correct.
Got you. Okay. that was very kind, sir. Very professional. Dempsey writes in, hey everyone, it's Dempsey here. I just wanted to tell you that I really enjoyed the show last week. Keep the ear candy coming, Roswell, my friends. Thank you very much, Dempsey. I want to thank everyone for writing in. Don't forget you can always call, text, or leave a voicemail, 606-373-3396, or they can email. How can they email us, Dirty Dan?
Well, caring, excuse me. Don't you dare write that out. Got to give people some.
No, I'm tagging the episode length.
Gotcha.
So
they can email in goose@heretechewbubblegum.com, Dirty Dan @heretechewbubblegum.com, or Simon @heretechewbubblegum.com. You can always email into the show, Ned or Elliot @heretechewbubblegum@yahoo.com.
Simon, do you want to take us out to break?
I want to thank you for listening to Here at Your Bubblegum.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Again, I wanna hold you high and steal my pain away. There's so much left to learn and no one left to fight. I wanna hold you high and
Hey
steal
everybody, it's John the Bod, aka the Bodfather. I have a new podcast entitled Beyond the Paranormal, which is on every Tuesday night on Beyond the Paranormal YouTube page, and we'll be streaming shortly on our Facebook page as well. If you want some information on the paranormal and cryptids such as UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, come and check out Beyond the Paranormal every Tuesday on Beyond the Paranormal podcast YouTube site, and also soon on our Facebook page. Keep checking back, folks. We're going to have a lot of great guests, a lot of great information. Have a good one.
Are you a horror movie fan? Yeah, I dig horror movies. Are you searching for a great internet horror talk radio show to listen to? Why, sure, that sounds quite spiffy. Then you need to tune into deadpit.com. It's the original horror talk radio show. Dead Pit is a show by the fans and for the fans. Uncensored and unbiased opinions are the goal of the show, giving fans honest reviews on new films and vintage classics of the horror genre. Make deadpit.com your #1 horror station destination.
Take a lighter look into the darker side of the world. Join Elliot, Gertie, and Beagle as they jump into the dark abyss of hauntings, fables, UFOs, and beyond. The Spooky Family Podcast. You can find them where you listen to quality podcasts. 1, 2, 3, and a 4 and a...
If you want to, we can leave your friends behind. Cause our friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, we're no friends of mine. Say, we can go where we want to, place we're there we'll never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world, in the real world far behind. We can dance,
Goose and Dirty Dan. Give the guys a break. They're not that bright.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum with Goose, Dirty Dan, and Simon.
We're back, and we're going to start out segment 1 with Dirty Dan. And Dirty Dan, what do you have for us this week?
Story is titled, What I Saw That Night Was Real. Is it time to take aliens more seriously?
Oh, very interesting. I can't wait to hear it.
So, according to The Observer and The Guardian, the Pentagon has been quietly investigating unidentified flying objects since 2007. The fact that they think they might exist is good news to those who claim to have seen them. In June, the U.S. government published a long-awaited report in UFOs. Although the report did not, as many had hoped, admit to the existence of little green men, it did reveal that not only were objects appearing in our skies that the Pentagon, which controls the U.S. military, could not explain, but some clearly pose a safety of flight issue that may pose a challenge to U.S. national security. The Pentagon also revealed that it has been taking UFOs so seriously that in 2007, it discreetly set up the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AATIP, which has been gathering data on unexplained aerial phenomena, or UAPs, ever since. The unclassified version of the report, because there was no classified version, seen only by the U.S. lawmakers, found no clear indications that there is any non-terrestrial explanation for the sightings, but neither did it rule it out. The report offered 5 typically mundane possible explanations for the UFOs and a crucially one catch-all other bin. It's that other bin that has arrested and the attention of stargazers and conspiracy theorists. If the U.S. military has been quietly and seriously investigating UFOs, and if the Pentagon's official report cannot rule out the existence of those extraterrestrials, is it time we looked at claims again of those close encounters and the people who have made them? Enthusiasm for UFOs and ETs has permeated popular culture ever since the U.S. Air Force balloon crashed near Roswell in 1947, allegedly. Conspiracy theorists confused the balloon for a UFO. The U.S. government did a lousy job debunking those claims, and they quickly captured the public's imagination. Fast forward to 1961 when Barney and Betty Hill told the world's first alien abduction story. Andrew Abita, professor of psychology at Rutgers University, co-authored We Are Not Alone, a study into why some of us want to believe in aliens. Abita explains that belief in aliens is akin to religiosity, unfounded beliefs, and unfalsifiable ideas, which require a leap of faith. People have a need to feel their lives are meaningful, and these beliefs might suggest that there's something bigger out there. There's something more important going on, Abita says. I tell Abita about an interview I carried out with a young man in Florida. The man, who did not want to be named, described an ambiguous close encounter that took place during his sleep. When I asked him what he preferred the truth to be, a real encounter or merely a vivid dream, the young man said he would prefer it to be true because that would mean he was special. I can imagine being a protagonist in an alien abduction story seems pretty meaningful, like a meaningful achievement, an accomplishment. Abita says that feeling of specialness plays an important role in these stories. Feeling like your unexplained experience is a result of alien abduction just seems more exciting and more important than a natural explanation. Still, the topic of alien encounters remains sensitive. I discovered just how sensitive when author Whitley Strieber, who some claim was abducted by non-humans in 1985, terminated our call after learning that I had not read his books. In a subsequent email, he wrote, "I don't know if I was abducted by aliens or not. The whole point of my work is to describe what happened to me and attempt to understand what it was. I was turned into an alien abductee, Whitley Strieber, by the media. That is not my position," he added. "You are lost in space when it comes to this subject, my friend. All of you." After I got off on the wrong foot with Strieber, though, he did come back and introduce me to highly decorated former U.S. Navy cryptologist Matthew Roberts. He was stationed on the aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt when fighter jets recorded the infamous gimbal and go fast videos of unexplained objects off the Florida coast during 2015, which went a long way to prompting the Pentagon's UFO report. Now retired from the military, Roberts is unmoved by the debunkers. These things are picked up by multiple sensors that are sometimes from different manufacturers. So to think that they would all be glitching the same way at the same time is just impossible. It just does not happen that way. Mick West, a science writer and video game programmer turned conspiracy theory debunker, offers his own, more quote-unquote down-to-earth explanations for the objects, arguing that mundane things, tech glitches, camera glare, balloons, and birds are more likely than aliens. However, now even the Pentagon has conceded there's more to UFOs than that. In its 9-page report, it states, most of the UAP reported probably do represent physical objects, given that a majority of UAP were registered across multiple sensors to include radar, infrared, electro-optical, weapon seekers, and visual observation. In other words, there was something out there, and these images were not technical glitches. I asked Roberts about a theory put forward by West that the gimbal object was a glare caused by a nearby aircraft. All aircraft, nationally, internationally, have to broadcast who they are. If they're not broadcasting, that's very unusual. Mick West, bless his soul, he has never been in the military, he says. Roberts explains that after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, unidentified air traffic escalate very quickly. It will go to the captain, it will go to the admiral, and they'll want to know what it is because the thought is immediately, is this a commercial airliner? Has it been hijacked? We're not as incompetent as Mick West would have you believe. If something is unidentified, it absolutely has to be identified immediately. Despite the debunkers and proliferation of more mundane explanations for UFOs, reports of close encounters have persisted for decades. Terry Lovelace, a retired assistant attorney general in Vermont, the author of Incident at Devil's Den, kept his abduction to himself for over 40 years due to fear of losing his job. He had a close encounter in 1977 while serving in the U.S. Air Force. Now 67, Lovelace was on a camping trip in Devil's Den State Park in northern Arkansas with a friend and colleague named Toby when things got strange. They were sitting around a fire, struggling to chatter with the din of buzzing crickets and croaking tree frogs before everything went quiet. That sounds kind of cliched, out of a movie, but that is exactly what happened to us, he says. 3 bright lights appeared on the horizon and moved in their direction. When the lights were overhead, they could see what they were emanting from a black triangular prism as wide as 2 city blocks. A blue laser beam darted over them, which Lovelace thought was scanning them. When it shut off, they became sleepy. Next thing, he woke and saw Toby peering out of the tent. The triangle was hovering above what appeared to be a dozen children standing in the meadow below them. What are these kids doing out here in the middle of the night? They aren't little kids. Don't you remember they took us and they hurt us, Toby answered. Lovelace says in the moment Toby said that, fragmented memories of being inside a UFO flashed in his mind. Years later, hypnosis helped him fill in more blanks, and he actually recalled encountering creatures while inside. For some, the fact that the Pentagon has finally admitted it cannot explain the behavior of the objects. May have been a surprise. For PC Alan Godfrey of 73, it merely proves what he already knows. On a windswept and wet West Yorkshire evening in November 1980, Godfrey was in hot pursuit of a herd of escaped cows in Todd Morden's housing estate. Instead of cows, he stumbled across a giant levitating diamond that would change the course of his life. Godfrey's close encounter with the UFO went viral worldwide and transformed Todd Morden into Britain's Roswell. Godfrey, a no-nonsense Yorkshireman born and raised in Autumn, is long retired from the force but still recalls the events of that night when he came face-to-face with that particular object, a diamond-shaped aircraft hovering 5 foot off the ground while spinning on its axis. He just had time to sketch the UFO on his notepad before he was blinded. In the next moment of conscious awareness, he was sitting in his patrol car. The UFO was gone. I got out of the car, looked at the road surface, and it was like a whirlpool, he says. The UFO's rapid revolutions had arranged the dead leaves, twigs, and other debris into autumn-themed spiral. In the aftermath of this encounter, he had visits from the Ministry of Defense, correspondence from a Russian scientist, and interest in the world's press. He even underwent hypnosis to uncover memories of his abduction.
Toby there in that story, he'd had several encounters, correct?
3 or 4, yeah.
You know, and that's something we've talked about before on this show and the podcast show. You get somebody that just, they seem to be like a magnet for, you know, UFO sightings or encounters, abductions, lost memories. And, you know, you get, and I'm not talking about just Toby, but several people like that. And they share all these similar stories and things happening and more than one experience. To me, as, you know, trying to look at this non-judgmental with an open mind, you can't throw that to the side. I mean, that has to say something. What do you think, Simon?
I mean, you was talking about Terry Lovelace. He has been on In Dark Places, Junebug, and Jimmy Haunted, who had his own online radio show. And I've listened to that show, man, and Terry Lovelace is definitely a very intelligent guy. And it don't seem like he would make up anything about seeing UFOs and all that stuff. So I find it very credible for sure.
Right. Is there anything you wanted to add, Dirty Dan, or were you? I
mean, just with what Seth said. There's, you know, these people. Nick Pope had actually said about Lovelace and Godfrey, and we've talked about Nick before.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these people that are coming out with these prominent stories, they have not a lot, but everything and then some to lose by doing this.
Right.
And they're not trying to seek out fame or fortune. They're trying to figure out what the heck happened to them.
And you find that in a lot of cases. I mean, you talked about in that story, Betty and Barney Hill. I mean, if nobody wanted attention, I mean, you can just tell it had to be them because, you know, they were a mixed couple in the early 60s. Yeah. I mean, so, you know, you can't tell me that they did this for fame or fortune or they wanted attention. I would never believe that, you know, and I do believe what happened to them, because their story just sounds, there's just so much detail there, and you have to look at that time period. Like I said, who would want that attention? You know, I don't think they would want that. And, you know, there's a lot of stories that I have researched and do believe these people as credible.
Yeah. And a lot of the stories, you know, you got to look, did they search for media or did the media search for them?
Right. Right.
How many times has this story been told? And look at the relevance and the changes that are either there or not.
Right.
You know, obviously if they were sought out, if their story hasn't changed, and again, the Hills' lives were ruined.
Yeah.
Absolutely ruined.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they were trying to have an out for anything in their marriage or their life.
No.
And they were crucified for it.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people who are people of, you know, a high level of some sort somewhere, who have everything and then some, like I said, to lose, their lives can be destroyed. I don't think they have any reason to be lying.
No. And now there is one like well-known name in like the abductions and sightings circle. His name's Corey Good. We've talked about him a little bit on the show. I'm on the fence about him. As of now, if I had to pick, I don't believe anything he says. I think that he does it for the attention, for fame, for money. I think you've even mentioned him before, haven't you, Simon? Corey Good?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know I don't even know who he is, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But I will tell you, Russ Kellett is a very credible UFO abductee.
Yes, he is.
Well, it's it's one thing to rehearse something and you'll slip up in that story, but when you have to tell it time and time again and it never changes, like Corey Good, the time he was gone changes, the time frame of it happening has changed. Well, I don't believe him.
And to me too, you can read some of his stories, and to me it's like he's painting himself as a hero and a victor in all these stories, you know. And I just
victor of what?
Yeah, you know. Well, in his view, he's saved the world several times. He's saved planet Earth. But, that was one thing that I noticed just doing a little bit of research on him and some of the stories that I had read that he had said and interviews that's posted on YouTube. I'm thinking this, I really don't believe this guy because he's like, Rambo, versus aliens. He's saved us all. So
when you call a news conference as a civilian, really?
Yeah. And I totally get what you're saying there. Simon, do you have anything for us this week?
I actually got a Bigfoot sighting from last year here in Knott County. It was one that Earl told me, but the reason why I'm mentioning it right now is because me and David are actually going to investigate this area, and it was at the do you know where Burgess Creek is, where the bridge is?
Yes, I do.
If you're familiar with Burgess Creek, you know where the waterfall is. You can kayak there and stuff, and some people swim there and stuff. Somebody was kayaking there last year, and they seen a Bigfoot walk above the waterfall, and they said that they seen like a 7-foot ape-like creature walking. So definitely very creepy. And Earl said this person is very credible too. So definitely look forward to investigating that area in June.
Yeah, definitely. You have to do a YouTube video on that as well when you do that.
We will be, actually.
It was me. I was shirtless.
Have you, not getting away from anything, but there's and I wish I'd saved it and sent it to you guys. There was a TikTok video here recently of what people claim is a real Bigfoot sighting. And basically all you see is the guy's forehead, or you see a forehead and eyes and like the top of the nose, okay? And he's hid behind a tree. And the guy that's commentating, he's like, I've made eye contact with him. I've spotted him. To me, it looks like a man that has used stage makeup and painted his face black. That's what it looks like to me. It does not look real. It does not look legit. Have you guys saw that?
No, but I seen the statue in Georgetown that was going around on Facebook.
Yeah. Now, see, that had actually, one of my friends posted that several years ago from the little wood cutout thing,
Yeah.
Now, the thing that gets me is like there's an actual disorder or disease called hypertrichosis.
Right. That makes you hairy.
The werewolf syndrome.
Yeah. You're talking about the werewolf boys from Mexico. Yes.
Yeah. Like for the longest time until like their doctor shared the case, they thought there was little Bigfoots running around below the border. Like I've actually gotten to meet someone that has had this condition, and all I could think of was Chewbacca. So if you got one of these corn-fed sons around here,
right, that has that, and I'm that could be very possible in Eastern Kentucky, very possible.
Yeah. So I mean, we had blue people.
Yes.
So,
yes, we did.
Like there are actual medical conditions, and some people might, you can focus on something by touching your screen when recording a video to make an image go out of focus and something else come in focus. And I saw a TikTok, I think it was in Georgia, that a guy saw Bigfoot walking across the road, had the normal gait of a large man, i.e. like a similar walking style to me, my size, if not a little bigger, pretty decent shape, but covered in hair.
Right.
And that, like, I'm like, that's clearly just a very unfortunately hairy man.
Yeah.
That's not Bigfoot. And this guy is, and like, you can hear like so like, he's like tapping his screen to try and get it to not focus on him. And it comes into clarity twice, and you can tell it's a man, but he goes right, like moves his camera like, oh, look at this Bigfoot I'm following. Bro, have a steady hand. Come on.
Yeah.
I was in the military. I know what I'm looking at. No, you weren't.
Let me tell you about this real quick before we take a break and step out just a moment. UFO expert absolutely floored by revelation from Obama Library. The news comes amid unprecedented series of disclosures about UFOs. A leading researcher into government secrets says he may have found the jackpot of documents on potential extraterrestrial encounters. John Greenwald Jr., who operates the Black Vault, a website dedicated to revealing declassified government documents obtained through the Freedom of Information Act, said that he asked the Obama Presidential Library for anything it has on UFOs, and what he got back left him absolutely floored. Unfortunately, Greenwald said he won't get any of those documents and electronic files anytime soon. He followed up by saying that the library wrote him and said that he wouldn't be able to view any documents in person, and estimated it would take 16 years to fulfill his FOIA request. That is how much material they have. I mean, there's a time limit on it, but they have so much material, it will be 16 years before they can fulfill that request. Greenwald is the author of several books, including Inside the Black Vault, The Government's Secrets Revealed, which reportedly involved collecting some 8,000 Freedom of Information Act requests. Although it's not clear what might be contained in the Obama library documents or contain previously known information, the sheer volume of content is enticing researchers and UFO enthusiasts. We're going to take a break and step away with the mysterious Appalachian Mountains with Seth and David, and we will be back to close everything out. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Welcome to the mysterious Appalachian Mountains with Seth and David. And I want to thank Russ Kellett from the UK, UFO researcher, UFO hunter, Russ Kellett, for being on. And for co-hosting the segment, man. And but we're definitely appreciate Russ for being on. And Russ is a great guest and a great guy. I definitely appreciate him co-hosting. Shout out to Russ Kellett. And David, how's it feel to be back, man?
Oh, it feels good, Seth. Feels good, bud. Trying to get recovered and back on the road and get back out in the woods.
Do some Bigfoot hunting.
That's right.
Absolutely, man. And man, I'm gonna tell you what, man, I got a weird story for you, and it's actually not from an article or any report or anything. It's actually a sighting of my own that I seen.
Oh wow. When did this happen?
2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely interested.
Absolutely, man. Do you know where Letcher County is?
Not quite sure.
It's next to Harlan, Knott County and stuff.
Okay.
Pine Mountain. That's where Pine Mountain's at.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yep. Letcher County, it's a pretty place, man. But yeah, man, I was coming to a town called Isom. Have you heard of that place?
I have not.
Oh, okay. It's a little town.
Yeah.
It's before you get to Whitesburg, which is the I guess you would say the big city. It's the biggest city in Letcher County. It's not a big city, but it's the biggest city in Letcher County.
Right.
Yeah. Their population's like 2,000 or something. But anyways, man, was coming down the road, which is going down a hill into Isom, and looked up on a mountain above where the road is and stuff. And like, there's a bunch of mountains. This is the Appalachian Mountains, man. Yeah. I mean, there's mountains everywhere. And you don't think you're going to see anything just looking around. But behind a tree, seen a flying thing that looked like a submarine with windows and a real bright light. Couldn't see the whole entire thing, though, because it was behind a tree up on top of a big mountain.
Right. Wow.
I'm gonna tell you something that Russ Kellett told me. I told him about that. The same aliens that abducted him have a submarine type flying thing that they fly. UFO
Really?
type. Yep.
Huh. Yeah, it sounds a lot like you've heard of the Tic Tac videos, right?
Yeah.
That's a kind of a submarine looking thing. Except you can't really see windows, and I think the fighter pilots and stuff caught it on thermal or something. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I've also heard another account describing almost the same exact thing you're describing, but it was at a lake. I can't remember where that lake was, but Yeah, so the guy said it came down the shoreline out of the tree line, came down the shoreline, said it looked like a submarine, had portholes in it like windows, and pretty much scared that guy to death out on the lake by himself.
Boy, it's funny how you say that, man. This is actually a couple, probably 5-6 miles from a lake here in Knott County.
I'll have to go back and do some see if I can figure out what lake that was at. Maybe it's something, maybe it's close to where that was at.
This lake is a Carsford Lake around here. There has been people, Earl, who was a Bigfoot researcher here in Knott County. I know you've heard Earl on my podcast and stuff and on here before.
Right.
He sadly passed away, and definitely prayers go out to his family, man. Miss Earl every day. He had a UFO sighting at the lake. He lived close to the lake, and he was on his way home from work and seen a UFO flying across from up in the sky across the lake.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen a couple of UFOs myself. Didn't quite look like that. What I saw were two total different things. One was actually just a silver sphere that was going across the sky, and me and a friend were out at work. It was broad daylight too, about 9 o'clock in the morning at work. We saw this go by. It was pretty incredible just seeing that. We had never seen anything like that before. Then the other one I saw was actually looked like a football field flying, all the stadium lights. Up here in Indiana, we have a lot of patchwoods, we call it, because we have the cornfields, and you got little patchwoods here and there. This thing went behind, it's as big as a football field, every bit of it. Went behind one of those patchwoods and never came back out again. That was probably the most strangest thing I've ever seen as far as UFOs go.
Wow. What Earl seen was a white light, just a white light, like a little small white light in the sky.
Almost sounds like some of the orbs that are affiliated with Bigfoot sometimes, huh?
Yeah. Funny thing is, there's been some Bigfoot sightings in the Carsford Lake area.
Wow. Yeah, as soon as I get back on my feet, I'm going to be giving you a call, and we'll get down there and we'll go do some running around, see what we can, peep out, and maybe we can find some good Bigfoot evidence down in there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely when it warms up, man. It is cold as can be.
Yeah, it's a little chilly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very chilly, man. We get snow. Like, it become a big rain the other day, man, and then in the morning it snowed like a coating. It was weird.
Yeah. We got a pretty good snowstorm, and then we got rain after that. So
we was having like thunderstorms the night before, and then the next morning it was snow.
Isn't that funny how weather is?
Kentucky weather, man.
That's right.
Definitely.
But yeah, so how long did you see this thing flying?
2 to 3 seconds.
2 to 3 seconds? What did it do? Just blink out, or just lost sight of it?
It just moved the other direction, man, and went away.
Yeah.
Couldn't see all of it though, because it was behind a big trees. I mean, multiple trees. It was behind. It acted like it was definitely trying to hide from something. I'm not sure what it was trying to hide from. Maybe, like Russ Kellett says, man, our government knows about these things and is fighting with them, fighting a war with the aliens.
There's 100% guarantee they know about them. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Oh, absolutely. I believe they're in war with them.
Yeah, I would have to hear some more on that. I mean, I like to know how the war is being fought, that kind of thing. What are their agenda for being here and having a war going on with us? That'd be a big question I'd have. What's the agenda?
Maybe they're trying to keep their race alive, man. I don't know.
Possibility. That's the big theory. One of the big theories on Bigfoot itself. Transplanted here and they're actually flourishing. It's something to think about for sure.
Definitely, man. And yeah, man. So what reports have you heard of lately?
As far as UFOs?
Yeah, UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, everything.
Well, I've been kind of honestly, I've been taking a little bit of break here, Seth. I haven't been around a whole lot here in the last 2-3 weeks. Probably the most recent thing I heard was an account down in Cherokee Lake in Eastern Tennessee. A guy was actually out there fishing, and him and his friend were fishing out there, and actually had one on the bank, raising all kinds of havoc with them right on Cherokee Lake down there below Clinch Mountain in Eastern Tennessee. That's probably the newest one I've heard so far. Get back into full gear here, I'll have a lot more for you.
Definitely, man. Definitely look forward to hearing some more stories from you, and I can't wait till you get out there and are able to get out there and do some Bigfoot hunting and UFO hunting, dogman hunting, every Christmas thing hunting, pretty much.
That's right. I'm chomping at the bit for sure. We're scheduled to go down to we're going down to the Bogue River down in Louisiana, 1st of April. We're going to be down there. Got a couple fairly recent Bigfoot reports down there, and also some dogman sightings. So we're going to be down there messing around and getting out in the woods down in Louisiana and see what we can find.
Absolutely, man. Sounds very exciting, and definitely can't wait to hear some stories after that trip.
For sure. I'm sure I'll have some.
Absolutely, man. It was good to have you back. And I want to thank Russ Kellett for co-hosting last week. I want to thank David for co-hosting this week and co-hosting every week. And this has been the Mysterious Appalachian Mountains with Seth and David. Y'all have a good night. You are listening to Here's Your Bubblegum with me, Simon, Dirty Dan, and Goose. And Simon says, let's get back to the show.
Good job, Simon. And the next time you talk to Mr. Seth Amberg, you tell him great job on the Mysterious Appalachian Mountains with Seth and David. Very, very, very interesting. I always look forward to listening and hearing that on the show.
There are some guys out there who are bigger than most and have quite a bit of body hair on them. And it's just too much of a chore, and you feel too bad asking your significant other to shave you. So remember, folks, when you go outside and you might see Bigfoot, it also could be a Dirty Dan just doing barbecue man things.
Okay.
Just remember that. Okay.
Serious question. And just remember on the radio, keep it clean. Have you ever used Nair hair removal?
Yep.
Did it work?
Ish. I have very thick hair.
Okay. Have you ever braided your back hair?
No.
Okay.
I did, however, lose a bet. Well, real quick, shameless plug for those of you who are on TikTok, because I don't think we've actually ever mentioned it on the radio show.
I don't think we have.
Look up Dirty Dan 974. Dirty Dan, all one word, numbers 974. I do cooking videos, barbecue videos, quick little recipes. Made some slapping chicken tender chicken parm in the air fryer the other night. He actually said he would pay for me to open up a food truck. So still not going to do it, but just have that compliment is good enough for me. So that being said, guys, go check out some friends of the show. Go to YouTube, check out Adventures with Purpose. Go to the website, adventureswithpurpose.com. Be sure to check out tillvalhallaproject.com. Spread the message, spread the word. And don't forget our very special friend of the show, DJ Nicky, and his company, Carbon Capture Shield. Go to carboncaptureshield.com. They are nominated for the X Prize, which is a $100 million deal in the carbon capture process. Elon Musk has hopped on board that. It's a worldwide thing. They're doing some great things. Go check them out. Spread the word. Share some love.
Again, special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work, and be sure to check out and support friends of our show that have their own shows. I'm talking about CK and Uncle Bill over at deadpit.com, Talk Junkie with Justin Perkins, Jordan and Brad of Down on the Holler, Seth Ambergy with Seth's Daily Podcast, Elliot Gertie and Beagle of SpookyFamilyPodcast.com, Mountain Mysteries Podcast.com with Chris Sloan, and if you're a fan of Cronkite, you can hear him, Snowman and Large Marge, at Paranormal Trucker over on YouTube. And don't forget about Beyond the Paranormal podcast with John Marshall every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. You can find that on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you want to awaken more, be sure to check out Rebecca Short on TikTok. That'll do it for this week. We will see you in the future.
I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm just going home.
Like a solar flare. We're out.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.